Welcome back to Fallout New Vegas. Let's continue. Old World Blues. And yeah, I would say we are starting to be kind of at the final stretch here. So it's now time to go to the Forbidden Zone and, deal with Dr. Mobius. Okay, so right.
Ready, steady, fighty. Fighting over.
Right, the Forbidden Zone. That's the red dome over there. Got the dome with the red lights. Oh.
Sneaking done, fighting now. Bad guys dealt with. Ready, steady, fighty. Cessation of hostilities complete.
Lobotomites, yeah.
Sneaking done, fighting now. Starting combat. Just kidding. That's all. Sneaking done, fighting now.
Yeah, sneaking to the Forbidden Zone.
That's all.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Fighting over.
Well. Yeah. Deactivate all the.
Uh-oh.
Right, so well, this is fun.
That's all.
Oh, bloody hell.
Sneaking done. Fighting now.
Okay, good. At least I managed to.
Bad guys dealt with.
Yeah.
Sneaking done. Fighting now. Bad guys dealt with.
Well, oh, right. Well, guess I could push my science to 80. Then with some items. What else? Maybe keep that repair skill going up. Eh, why not? Right, so put on this and use a programmer's digest.
Okay, I'll go away.
And hack this computer over here. Right. Civilization. Okay, that's not an Eon word. Yeah, can't be recuperating. Yeah, it's definitely like an Eon word. Relationship? No, not that. Hmm. Immaculately? No. Dot reboot. Loud replenished. Dot removed. Okay, that's quite a bit of help, actually. Okay, so it's not at least like an Eon word. Well, technologies, good. Okay, good. Managed to hack that. Emergency shutdown procedure log. Per instructions from the highest ups after that one time the giant robo-scorpion's attack routine malfunctioned, we've installed an emergency shutdown procedure. Let's hope we never have to use it. The prototype systems will all be fried and won't be up and running again for weeks. The military is expecting delivery of battle-ready model within 6 months, and the project has already had enough delays. Initiate emergency shutdown. For as in forbidden.
Sneaky, sneaky. We're okay on stimpaks.
Yeah.
Medic
So
supplies adequate.
yeah, so we managed to. So yeah, as you can see with the science of 100 you get pretty easy victory over the robot. Otherwise, well, you just have to, fight it with actual weapons. Which, well, would you believe it or not? Would you believe it? But that Robo Scorpion is pretty damn tanky, so it can withstand a lot of damage. Right. He must be Dr. Mobius. Fixing things. Yep. That's Dr. Mobius, alright. Dr. Mobius's glove. And his scrubs, yeah. Well, we could just assassinate Dr. Mobius.
Yo, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely.
Is that better?
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. Flying tortoises? What a worst. Would you care for a mentat?
Thanks.
I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-terrific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end.
You aren't exactly what I was expecting.
Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I.
Look, I need my brain back.
Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
Well, I was curious about some things.
Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know everything. Oh, maybe it was when I found out some unpleasant answers.
Why did you steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. The anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition.
Why is that a problem?
I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh, well.
I was curious about some things.
I find things curious as well. Go on.
Can you tell me about your robo-scorpions?
Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert, like poisonous frosting. How scary, I thought, but they had survived when nothing else had. Perfect candidates for improvement as a reward for their tenacity. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes and data-drained computers and acted as bullhorns? Then I made them bigger. Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Or was it mustard? Mustard custard. I miss sugars and salts.
Yeah, I was curious about some things.
Yes, this is getting interesting. You are just filled with these little slices of curiosity, aren't you?
Well, I guess I'm like a cat with curiosity. You don't seem aggressive. Why broadcast threats to the think tank?
Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, watch out! So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take mentats, I can feel my entire chassis breathe like a big spherical lung. As for the psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Go in the wrong tube. Still, served its purpose.
Wait, sounds like you built the robo-scorpions. Issue threats to keep the think tank occupied.
Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. There's some reason for it. Ethics or, conscience? You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the reasons better than I do.
Well, I suppose there isn't a more ethical form of science than conscience. uh, Everything you've told me doesn't add up. Your plan, even your name, Mobius.
Dr. Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I, although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature of such an appellation. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies, it said. I believe it meant me. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. As for the name I was born with, like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming.
You reprogrammed their names as part of a recursion loop. What, to trap their processors?
Now, trap is a rather harsh word, like excrement. Not an inappropriate word, but still rather harsh. But, yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. It's all right, they don't remember. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement, and then...
A recursion loop is designed to prevent the flow of information, so
The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. They keep testing things. They would have found a way to disarm it. I suspect I have Plan C's in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them, just in case. Probably very dangerous, lethal, or worse. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Or as you like to say, trapped. I prefer to have several Plan Bs in case the A's fail.
keep going. I want to hear the rest of this.
Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros, Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time and history. All that is left is what's here. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world, here, Big Mountain. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. And I am told I was once quite professional.
If you lobotomized the think tank, why terrorize them? I should have taken them in tats.
Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That I didn't change. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. And when they start deucing it up, then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. Bacteria, finally able to see its host.
But there must have been other signs of a larger world.
There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their monitor micromagnifiers. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. And then there was the whole brain fiasco, which forced me to take steps. See, your brain had a special kind of wrinkle, a uniquity that they had never thought to try in all their countless escape attempts.
The bullet that went into my brain. Doug Mitchell tried to patch me up, but...
Yes, very good. I should have mentats in just you instead of the other way around. Mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis. But it was enough for the auto-dock in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem, and the brain extraction technology for once worked. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial selves into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the reservation...
Well, I don't have a mentats. Just because.
I'm having the most...
Right. Oh, maybe I'll...
I'm having the...
Oh. Now I'm not sure where was my last quick save, so I'm gonna do a big save now. I should have had a mentats before talking to him. Okay, where am I? I mean, do I have a mentats? No, okay, I'm having a mentats now. I'm just gonna try to skip this. Is that better? Thanks. You aren't what I expected. I need my brain back. I was curious about something. Why did you steal my brain? Why is that a problem? I was curious. Can you tell me about roboscorpions? I'm curious. You don't seem aggressive. Why broadcast? Sounds to me everything you reprogrammed them. Klein, Mobius, O's, a circle, it's an infinity symbol. They're all loops, I get it.
Doctor,
A minor detail, but a snake devouring its own tail is Ouroboros. Ouroboros, not Ouroboros.
really? It is so unlikely to make an error in anything I do.
Okay, so if you lobotomize the think tank, why terrorize
Well,
them?
it's simple.
There must have been some signs of the larger world. The bullet that went into my brain. So if I don't get my brain back, I can't leave.
Oh,
Client said they had the idea to get 3 technologies after a broad coincidence.
I consider
I'm just gonna. Was there any other data transmitted in your thread broadcast? But the think tank download the schematics, not the items. They can rebuild them.
Oh,
Time for me to go. Okay. Just because it's so. Whenever you have these dialogues with these brains in this DLC, it always takes forever. Okay, let's talk to my brain.
Well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been? Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Yes, please. There's no need to be sarcastic. Meeting your own brain is a slightly odd event.
Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you?
No. I've been busy. Yes. Okay, we can be sarcastic and or just, I've been busy. Well, yes, because running around a crater full of bizarre science experiments, hygiene is a top priority.
Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle of the thing.
Look, why are you such a dick?
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, a, quote, dick, unquote, as if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
Oh, come on. That stuff's fun.
Fun? Fun? Is tetanus fun? Is rickets? What about sepsis, huh? Enjoy that, do we? The things you do with our body are suicidally dangerous, and if you could silence your glandular impulses, you would hear me screaming at you.
Don't you want to be reunited? I thought you'd be happy to get back into my head.
I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you.
Well, diapers are a thing. Uh, But what about the good things? About crushing those who oppose you, the smell of fire, loot. Oh, this is probably like evil karma things.
All motivated by nothing but an imbalance in certain brain chemicals. The tank corrects for that. I feel no urge toward antisocial behavior.
So what, you'd rather just stay here, never leaving that tank off whatever that stuff is?
Well, certainly there might be some things I miss about being ambulatory. We have seen some incredible sights, haven't we?
We
But
certainly
still,
have.
given the tremendous, potentially life-ending peril that went along with those, yes, I'd rather stay here.
Well, if you like being stuck in here so much, maybe I'll just leave you.
Oh no, please don't leave me here in this nice, safe dome where I have access to nutritive fluids and a fully indexed library. Please don't deprive me of being dragged through a landscape so bleak it was actually improved by the end of the world. I don't know how I could bear it.
Well, look what happened to Think Tank. Do you want to end up like that after a few hundred years?
It's true, the brains here have experienced some degree of deterioration. I'm confident that with a few decades of work, I can solve the problem.
Then surely you'll be taking into account the corrosive effects of long-term exposure to biogel.
Of course I accounted for that. Do you think I'm so stupid? No, you're right. Maintaining my current functionality will be harder than I thought. This bears some further looking into.
What would happen to me if I left you here?
Let me see. I suppose you'd continue on much as you are now, using that synthetic thinking machine to do the heavy lifting. Unless, of course, the batteries run out. But that seems unlikely.
And if I put you back?
I'm not entirely sure. I suppose there's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us. What form that might take, though, I cannot say.
Come on, let's go. We're getting out of here.
Ugh, crawl back in there? Are you mad? I don't know where you've been. For all I know, you're riddled with disease or packing one of those delightful head wounds you seem to attract. I'm not crawling back into your head just to ooze right back out again.
I promise, I'll take better care of myself.
Even if I believe you, and I'm not saying I do, we still have one significant problem we're facing. Even if I wanted to settle myself back in your skull and go to all the trouble of reconnecting nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share.
Then let's go and make them share. Come on, brain. It's stomping time.
Oh, lovely. We've reached the mindless violence portion of the program. Tell me, what exactly are you, and I use the word loosely, planning?
Oh, guess I can't. Just a point shy of that. 5 points of that. Oh, let's just say violence is the last resort of the civilized man, and I'm feeling mighty uncivilized.
With an attitude like that, it's small wonder you got yourself shot in the head.
What's it going to do to what's it going to take to convince you?
I'd like to find a nice little place to live, maybe in Good Springs, and settle down where we won't get shot at. Not as often, at any rate. But since that doesn't seem likely, what's your plan?
If the think tank won't hold up their bargain, we'll make them. Let's go.
Very well. I I suppose I have no choice. Goodbye, peaceful, soothing brain jar. Hello, head bones and scorpions. I
Yeah.
suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Clyde will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Nice. Right. Yeah, let's go back to the well, there's no enemies here I can run. Yeah. Then again, I do crouch pretty fast too as well, so maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Yeah, I can fast travel back to the Sync. Right, well, a little bit of inventory management. Let's see, yeah, those. Do I have something in here I want to toss there?
What's that? Yeah, I found a sound wave file for you. Right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a sweet, sweet sound.
Right. Yeah, so. Alright, the dock, yeah.
You require some additional services?
Yes. Okay, so swap a body part. Place your heart back in your chest. Cardiac arrest perk. Your heart is back in your body, but some advanced technologies remain. You are less resistant to poison, 50%, and robots are only somewhat confused by you, 25% less likely to score a critical hit now. But on the bright side, healing items, scams are twice as effective, plus 50%.
You require some additional...
Yes. Swap body parts and reattach spine. Reinforced spine. Your spine is back in your body, but some advanced technologies remain. Your torso can now be crippled again, but your strength and damage threshold bonuses have doubled. Yeah. Oh, let's see now. Let's see. I'm level like 27 right now. Yeah. All right. Now it's time to go and meet with the brains. Dr. Klein awaits. Make sure you're prepared to finish this once and for all. Do I still have like mintets going on? I do. Well, Mobius Scrubs gives science. A client. Mobius classes, client classes, okay.
Bye-bye.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
I've found my brain. Now you and I are going to settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
Do you think I killed Mobius?
Yes! Wait, you did, didn't you? You are lying. No, you are not. Your heartbeat, perspiration, all excessively confident and sure of yourself. Why would you reason with that maniac? He'll destroy us all.
Maybe you should confer with your colleagues first.
Mobius is not...
Oh, I clicked the wrong option. Maybe you should confer with your colleagues first.
Nonsense. Confer, colleagues. Those are two words I do not recognize.
Dr. Klein, I must intercept. Please, do not harm the lobotomite.
I'm not going to harm it. I'm going to dissect it until it's dead. Why the sudden intersection, Dalla?
I cannot stand a sweet breathing organism breathing in and out to suddenly not breathe. We must keep it alive. For steady. Slow, steady.
Dalla, these vocalized pauses are unlike you. What do you care?
Fine, this lobotomite, it's a great sounding board. You respect ideology, right? This one's, well, it's got good ideas.
Silence, Dr. O. This is a think tank decision. Save your objections until after I have decided our course of action.
You know what, Klein? Stick a straw in your tank and suck yourself. Long and deep. And my name is Zero. Yeah, a big, fat zero with a slash through it.
The slash as a designator of... Why, that is brilliant. But how did you...
The lobotomite taught me that. Taught me a name is more than, that I should take pride in things like names. And you know what? Forget it, Klein. I hate you. And your theory of radial beam oscillation? The Chinese had it first, you copycat.
How dare you? Radial beam oscillation was solely my discovery. I expressly told you that and deleted all evidence to the contrary. It's 2-8. Why are you acting like this? You've never refused to commit necessary surgery before, and this lobotomite needs its surgery. A noble speech, but there is no room in my vocabulators for friend and lobotomite in the same sentence. The very concept, revolting. Perhaps you are irradiated with camaraderie radiation. We have chems for that. We can save you from your emotional addiction. I, for one, cannot bear to let this continue. I don't see what is to be gained by throwing another body into our labs, especially one that has done us a service, gone where we feared to go. This lobotomite doesn't deserve our knives. It deserves our respect. We should care for it, feed it, nurture it, give it the life Gabe never had. Why am I even listening to you fools? Enough of this mutinous chorus. If there's a word I hate, it's mutiny. And the word chism, which never made any sense to me. It's ridiculous putting ch and together like that. Nonsense. I count as 5. Like the mighty human hand I once had, with its 5 penises clenched in a fist.
Sounds to me like your math is wrong and the odds aren't good.
Nonsense! The mathematics of this situation are on our side, lobotomite. I believe... No, wait. Carry the 2, then... If this were a democracy, I would be concerned. We are too scientific for that. So just surrender.
It's not a democracy, it's a research facility, and over half of your colleagues dispute your findings.
You dare use logic against me?
I do. Here's the deal. I'm not gonna surrender. You are.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
You can still do that. Here, quietly, for me. I can bring the Mojave, this world, to you. You'll be safe, and you'll still be able to experiment.
For you? And for science? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. Oh, odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service, as long as you do not destroy us.
Right. So, that was more or less the peaceful solution. And because, of course, fighting is always an option. So just fighting the brains and killing them. But, we might be a bit of a mobster type character, but we're not a monster. Our violence has always a purpose. Okay, let's go to the sink. Cue
As it had been in the
cutscene.
years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the most powerful minds of the 23rd century. The Courier who had been brought to the Big Empty became its new overlord, using its facilities ruthlessly and decisively when needed. Sometimes science is more than a quest for discovery. It is a weapon to be used in the service of one with the strength to understand it.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the Courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the Courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat. One of them eventually transferred to the Lightwave Dynamics plant and began a long, unrequited affair with one of the holograms.
The thing continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. It learned several new murderous techniques from the Courier and built a blood shrine to itself in the cuckoo's nest. The cave floor was soon filled with the horror of 100 gutted toasters, a silent, grisly, unplugged audience. Their purpose? To toast bread, unfulfilled.
Muggy did his best coffee cups. Although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the Courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the Courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the Courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The Courier, organs intact, continued onward, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the Courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the Courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the Courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
The Big Empty lived up to its name, a hollow crater of failures of a past era, a last sad statement of the old world.
In the time following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, Old World Blues became more than a catchphrase.
It became a reality, a withering form of nostalgia for times long past.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the Courier at the helm, it was all this and more. Old world blues, new world misery. The two became one in the Courier's shadow.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the Courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The Sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the Courier had to walk alone.
You have lost the brainless perk. You have gained the big brain perk. Yeah, I mean, I You acquired the Big Mountain Transportal Ponder. It's capable of transporting you and you alone between the Mojave Wasteland and Big Mountain. So yeah, so you can't bring companions with you basically. To return to the Mojave or go back to the Big Mountain from the Mojave, simply equip the transponder as you would any weapon. Pull the trigger and away you'll go. Note that it won't work in interiors or in combat situation and is totally incapable of harming your enemies. Right.
I've seen you with her.
Yeah. Right. So that was the end of the kind of main storyline of Old World Blues. But of course, from now on, we will have the means to pretty much come and, let's say, come to here and leave this place whenever we want. With this, the Big Mountain Transponder. Right. Um,
Did you even know you were wearing me?
right.
We're okay on Stimpaks.
Well,
Medic supplies adequate.
while that long, but actually wasn't during the cutscene, it was while I was chatting with Dr. Mobius before. I did a little Google search and just to find out where the one of the last skill book recipes are. Man, well, and yeah, it should be in Higgs Village, so that is where we're headed now. Right. And so, just as a reminder that because we are because we have the Logan's loophole trait currently, it means our level cap is actually 30. And we're already at level 27. So we would have only 3 more levels to go. Unfortunately, the order doc will allow us a one-time only, basically, psychic re-evaluation. Yeah, it should be in house 00. The repair book. Did I miss it? Oh, maybe I actually have the repair skill book, the recipe. No. Well, surely I didn't actually use it yet.
Nobody ever notices me, but they notice the Pip-Boy light.
Huh. Launcher. That's strange. It's supposed to be in Higgs Village in this apartment 00. Let me check. And I'm pretty sure I haven't yet made a... Or have I made... Well, I might also need to check if I have maybe accidentally put it into like... let's see. House 00 of Higgs Village. Walk upstairs and stand outside of the last room, the one with the eye looking. Crouch before the door and look to the right and down. The recipe will be sandwiched in the rack of old world scientific equipment. Yeah, I'm reading the wiki. The one with the eye. Is this?
Nobody ever notices me, but they notice the Pip-Boy light.
Well, maybe fine. Oh, let me read that again. Crouch before the doorway and look to the right and down. The recipe will be sandwiched in the rack of old world scientific equipment. Oh, there. Outside the room. There it is. Okay. Right. Let's see if there's one or two have already been here. Just want to see if there's... I mean... Okay, so this place doesn't have too many like those books, okay? How about the next one? 103. Wait, that's the basement. Is there books upstairs? Some. Yeah, not a whole lot, but small amount of books. Just trying to see if there's radio equipment. Okay, well, couple of pre-war books. Yeah. I mean, while I'm at the Higgs Village, I might as well, you know.
You're my best friend forever.
Okay, well, I guess this house doesn't have too many books. 104. How much am I carrying? 40, okay. Okay, 61, so yeah, so clearly I have 104. Yeah, this is Dr. Dahla's house. And this is once again, okay. Oh, good. We got a number of books from there as well. Well, I didn't calculate how much back to think tank, yeah. And
Greetings, citizen.
right, process books. Oh, I have some pencils as well. 6.
Greetings, citizen.
Okay, process books here. 10 large, 7 large scorch, 17. Well, I mean, I will soon see how many. 68 blank books. Okay, so that's a little more than. So I'll put the blank books in here. Okay, so I have enough. Yeah, 25 for each. So what's that? That's like for. Well, I almost have enough books for like 7 skill books, but I'm like 4 books short. Okay.
Might I be safe in the assumption that matters with the think tank have been satisfactorily concluded vis-a-vis your residence in this domicile?
Right. Bye.
Very good, sir.
So yeah, of course, couple of cigarettes, maybe. Okay, just one. Right. Well.
Station told me he dropped a mug down his processing.
Yeah, so obviously now we're pretty close to right. Okay, so I think this is enough for now. We have now pretty much more or less done a full clearing of overworld blues. And so when we come back, well, we'll probably return to Mojave. Or maybe craft some skill. We'll probably craft some skill books and go back to Mojave. stuff like that. Or maybe even go on a little book hunting, go on a little book hunt. And but then again, I can always collect books also from the Mojave and then bring them to here. So that's not really an issue, is it? Right. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you next time and goodbye.